What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Reel Junkies. I'm your host, Ron, here again with my man Vito. And today, the first of the comic book doubleheader of July, we got a brand new DC Cinematic Universe getting kicked off with Superman, directed by James Gunn, starring David Corenswet as Superman. And I didn't know what to expect coming into this. We've had quite a few different versions of Superman live action at this point. We've had a decent enough sample size of James Gunn's superhero films. So I ain't really know how them two was gonna mesh. I have to say, I'm pleased with what I saw. I'm pleased.
I'm happy.
I'm happy with what we got.
I went in with low expectations, to be honest with you.
I didn't go in with low expectations because I ain't gonna disrespect James Gunn like that. We've seen him produce too much good work, especially just specifically in the comic book genre, with characters who are much lesser characters than Superman. You can make me give a fuck about a talking raccoon and a talking tree. You can do something with Superman. You feel me?
For me, that was the issue, man. Like Superman is this. I mean, the original superhero. He's the fucking gold standard of superheroes, and he's already a hard hero to do because he is so powerful, because he has all these things, all these feats that he's accomplished in the comics already,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I think we talked about this where I said before, I don't need comics to follow. I mean, the comic movies to follow like comics one for one. I'm actually glad that most of them don't, because I've read that already. I've seen that. I don't need to follow it, but Superman is just one that I think it was like 38, 39, something like that. First Superman comic book came out. Before I think the first one was Action Comics for him. I don't remember. I don't think it was Superman at first, but he just has a fucking long history. It's almost 100 years of this guy.
Boy, been around for a minute.
And like you said, we've had multiple live actions: Henry Cavill, Brandon Routh, Christopher Reeves. I can't remember the original guys, George something, who played him back in like the 50s. But we have such a long history of Superman, and it's been done bad a few times. It's been done great a few times.
Yeah, it's been hit or miss.
We've talked about previously. I like the Man of Steel movies. I'm entertained by it.
I do too. I think we're in the minority on that, but I fuck with Man of Steel.
The issue with the Man of Steel is, like I said, I don't need it to be one for one copy of the comic. I just a cool story, but this feels like a Superman movie. I'll put it like that. Man of Steel.
Yes.
Man of Steel was a superhero movie that had Superman in it.
Yeah.
But it did not feel like a Superman movie. This movie feels like a Superman movie. I've seen somebody say they're glad that Superman wasn't a emo edgelord.
I like the fact that they brought Superman kind of closer to the roots of like how most people are used to seeing the character. You know what I'm saying? Very over the top, maybe a tad cartoonish at points, but not to the point where it's like totally crazy or like cringeworthy, I should say. And they really leaned into a lot of the sort of kind of cheesy like 1950s style like humor and entertainment that Superman has kind of been tied to. I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people who you would consider like Superman fans, or people who read comics, or people who are just deep into the lore, probably didn't like Man of Steel as much, because it felt like a departure from the Superman they were used to. This is the Superman they're used to. Was this movie right here, like to a T. I felt like one problem I have, because overall I really enjoyed this movie. One problem that lingered with me was I'm cool with the lighter tone, but I think Superman should still feel like Superman. Like, we should still have a certain amount of respect just for his sheer strength and how strong he is. I don't think this film did a good job of displaying that. Like,
okay, so I got a counter for that.
The movie starts out and he's 0 for 2 in scraps. So the movie starts out and he's already 0 and 2. No, off rip.
No, that was his first loss.
If you remember the text that came up at the beginning of the movie, they said Superman just lost his first fight.
Yeah.
Then he crashes.
That's the first fight.
They go and take him into the crystal or whatever.
Oh,
he gets back together, goes back out to fight the same nigga.
You're right.
Gets his ass whooped again.
You're right.
So he starts out 0 for 2. You know what I'm saying? But there were a lot of points in this movie where I felt like, and I get it, Superman is a hard character to put on screen, because if you just put him on screen at his full strength, there's going to be no stakes. He's going to whoop everybody's ass. So I get you kind of have to nerf him a little bit, but it felt like watching the movie. I'm like, I feel like Superman's been getting his ass whooped from the more of this movie than he's been winning fights. Like I feel like he's been getting his ass whooped for more of this movie than he should have for it to be a Superman movie. That was just my take. That's really my main gripe of the movie is I didn't feel like y'all portrayed Superman in a way where I feel like this dude is like him. Like there were points in the movie where I felt they displayed his strength very well, but there are a lot of points where I'm like he's low key getting his ass handed to him right now, and I kind of felt myself saying that at more points in the movie than I feel like I should have.
So just real quick little tangent before I hit my rebuttal for that. Um, as always, the movie's been out. By the time this drops, it'll be a week. It'll be a full 7 days since the movie comes out. So it's gonna be a few spoilers. If you've been online, you've already seen a lot of spoilers already. Shit, I seen spoilers. I went to go see the movie Thursday night, and I seen fucking spoilers Friday morning. So people don't care anymore. They don't give you a heads up, a warning, nothing. We
They
give
said,
you a
"Fuck
warning.
it, nigga. Here's what happened."
Yeah, our shit. You gonna see some spoilers in it. We try and keep it a little lighter, so we're not giving away too much of the story. But just to reference back to Man of Steel, Zack Snyder, I enjoyed the movies, but it like I said, it does have a departure from the likeness of it. Even looking at the movie, you can see how dark it is. Like the uh the background's dark. The lighting is dark of it. The entire tone of it is dark. It feels like it should be a Batman movie with how dark it is.
Yes.
And again, what I said was it mixes so much of different comics and smashes it together, which a lot of fucking superhero comic book movies do that. But when they did it, I want to say that I definitely read a comic book where Superman put somebody's like when Clark put that guy's truck like up on the through telephone poles, or not the telephone poles, but the logs that's on the back of his truck. He smashed them through it. One, how did nobody know to hear that shit? It's metal crashing through or wood crashing through metal. Like somebody would have had the truck was sparking when the guy went outside, but in a comic book, I want to say it may have been American Alien, which this was like Super Clark leaving Smallville for the first time, graduated high school, so he's a kid. Yeah. So it kind of throws you off because Henry Cavill does not look like a child.
Hell no, you don't. Hell no.
Henry Cavill looked like a 34, 35-year-old man deep in his fucking career, at least in this part of the movie. But I just wanted to point that out, So that was a little wild. It's a very dark tone. Superman in that movie is kind of, Clark was spiteful in there. He says he's there to help people, but then he's like, let me throw this guy threw a fucking drink on me. I'm gonna fucking
it's a very
I'm gonna destroy his livelihood because he threw a drink on me.
To your point though about the Zack Snyder movies though, even though I think this is superior to that Man of Steel movie we got, I think this is a better movie.
But, no, 100%.
Yeah, this is a better movie than that. But the one thing about Man of Steel that resonated with me, I actually like the darker tone, which I know is one thing that most people weren't rocking with. And Man of Steel has its problems, but one thing about Man of Steel that I felt, I was like, oh, Superman is Superman.
Because he's strong.
You know what I'm saying? You felt like he was Superman in that movie. Yes, he had battles where, he was struggling, but I didn't feel like he wasn't getting his ass handed to him in multiple scenes in that movie. That wasn't the case here.
So
you know what I'm saying?
That leads me back into the point that I was going to make, kind of on yours, where I feel like he should have struggled more in Man of Steel. Yes, he had been on Earth under the.
You mean in this movie or Man of Steel?
Man of Steel.
Okay.
He had been on Earth under the yellow sun for however many years he had been on Earth. They don't classify in there. The Kryptonians that came, it should have taken them a lot longer to acclimate to those powers. But again, they're fucking warriors, so that's what they do. They acclimate quickly and they fight. In this movie, I'm trying how much. We already said it's gonna be some spoilers.
Very light. I'll say very light.
That's what I'm saying, because
explanations. I'll say that. I don't even want to say spoilers.
The person that he's fighting in this movie after the big reveal, there'll be a big reveal, obviously. The person that he loses that fight to is strong. That person is incredibly strong, and I think they even mention it in the movie that he's stronger than Superman. So nobody knows who it is. And that suit, the way they do these suits is fucking crazy because in Superman and Lois, which was on, it originally aired on CW, I believe, and it ended. I was supposed to do what you watching on that and completely forgot when I finished. Um, but
we can double back to it.
Nope, it's done. It was a great show. I enjoyed it, especially for it to be on the CW. But they had that same suit. They have something similar to it, and that the Hammer Bulgaria wears, and
Okay.
everybody thinks it's going to be Doomsday because in one of the Justice League movies, that's how Doomsday shows up. He shows up in a suit, and through fighting him, the suit tears off, and it turns out it's Doomsday. So they like to play around with this, which is cool. And like I said, he loses these fights. It makes sense to me the way he lost these fights because again they said that one of the things that I really enjoyed about this movie, and I think I hope that more superhero movies do this. That we've seen countless iterations of Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. We don't need to see their origin stories. We do not need a 10-minute, 15-minute. We don't need a 5-minute origin story to see what happens. We know what happens. I don't even kids that's never seen a Superman movie before. They they've seen the cartoons. They may have looked at the comic book. They kind of get the gist of Superman. So just having that little blurb on the screen that quickly, a millennia ago, this happened. Then this happened. 30 years ago, Superman came here from another planet when his planet was when Krypton was destroyed. He presented himself to the world as Superman 3 years ago. Today he lost his first fight. I thought that was so perfect.
That was the perfect way to set that up.
That was so fucking perfect to set that up.
And even throughout the film, like he keeps referencing, you know what I'm saying, different aspects, just in case you really aren't that familiar. He keeps referencing, like, when I crashed down in Kansas, like he keeps referencing the origin and in a way that feels natural to the story, so it doesn't feel like exposition. And there's no need for, like you said, for us to see that scene again.
And that's what I loved about it. I think the last time we seen this was in Spider-Man. What was it? Freshman. What was it called? The first Spider-Man movie with
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
It
was Freshman. Oh, it was Homecoming. I don't know why I'm saying Freshman. But we seen it with that. We don't see Peter. We don't see Peter get bit. We don't see Uncle Ben die. We don't see all of this. We don't even know if Uncle Ben.
They don't even mention Uncle Ben.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. Like we don't even know if. I think they mentioned it once, and that was in like the third film. And that's when he was talking.
I was about to say, I don't even remember Uncle Ben getting mentioned in the Tom Holland movies.
When he was talking to Toby Spider-Man.
Okay.
Toby and
but Toby was talking about his Uncle Ben. But
we don't even know if like Uncle Ben died while he had his powers. We don't know.
We don't know.
I'm fine with because last time we got a Spider-Man movie was 2012 with the Amazing Spider-Man.
Prior to that, I think maybe 2014 or 15 was when the Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. So that would have been the last one before Homecoming.
We've seen this story before. We don't need to see it again. So especially when you have these established characters, it's good for that. I seen someone say because you mentioned it. You said I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch the last one I sent you? TikTok.
I did not know.
I forgot to send them, and then when I sent them, I'm like, shit. I sent them late. But also, I think they're both like maybe 18, 20 minutes together. It's created on TikTok called the Old Geek Adventurer. And he's like a giant Superman fan. I don't always agree with his takes, but I respect him because he has a lot of knowledge behind him. And different people like different stuff for different reasons. But one of the things he said that he loved about it, which you mentioned, was there's a lot of exposition in the film. So when just one of the examples is what you're just saying, where he does callbacks to, when I was back on this, or Lois will say something, this. But the one that they mentioned the most is when Lex is in his room in that control center during that fight, and he's controlling the Hammer of Bulgaria. And somebody goes back, and he's like, he's been watching Superman for years. He's calculated all his moves. He knows counters for it. It's like, okay, well, that's like me being at work with everybody I work with, and I'm like, yeah, this is why I'm doing this, this, and this. Yeah, nigga, we know.
Yeah,
we
like
know. We know we all do the same shit, but it's for the audience.
Yeah.
You see that a lot in comic books where they're explaining certain things that's going on because you're not going to get the full picture just by looking at the picture. You need to know these things. So they added a lot of that where, like I said, it feels like comic book movie.
Yeah.
Back to the point of Superman losing fights. He had some strong competition. Lex Luthor is Lex Luthor. You know,
bro, Lex Luthor was thorough in this movie, boy.
The fact, listen, this is
Lex Luthor was thorough as fucking here, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I was impressed.
Of the Lex Luthor from the animated Superman movie, not movie, TV show that we grew up with, and DC and the Justice League movies because it's the same guy. This is my favorite iteration of Lex.
I agree. Nicholas Hoult smoked this.
This
I agree.
Nigga was a hater, and that's what fucking Lex Luthor is, dog.
Generational hater. You're not. I don't care how big of a hater you think you are. You're not as big of a hater as Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor hates Superman.
The one thing, one of the things that somebody said that I've seen, and I've seen a bunch of creators doing reviews on it, so I don't want to say whose name because I don't remember who it was, but they said the only time that they didn't feel like a Lex Luthor move was a Lex Luthor move was at a point in the movie. He's saying how much he hates Superman and why he hates him. And you like, yeah, that sounds like Lex Luthor, but he's doing it in like a room full of people.
Yeah.
It's like, and Lex Luthor wouldn't do that. He I'm better than you niggas. I'm way better than you niggas.
Yeah.
Y'all not gonna hear me telling this nigga that he's better than me. This is why I hate him. But he was a top tier level hater. This nigga was doing evil shit just to do evil shit. You know,
some of the shit he was like, fuck it. I don't care who gets hurt. I don't care how much damage I cause. If it helps me kill Superman, I'm doing it. Fuck it. I don't care.
Well, I mean, like, somebody was like, if Superman was not around, Lex Luthor would still be Lex Luthor. And there's a point. There's gonna be. It's not a main plot point. It is, but it's not. I'm not gonna give away a bunch of detail when I say it. Lex Luthor imprisons one of his ex-girlfriends because she writes blog posts about him after the breakup. He puts her in a illegal prison, dog. Yeah. Like, what type?
Lex Luthor is a very spiteful person in general. They set that up in this movie, period. And that's for people who've like actually wronged him personally, like in the most part, or just people that he doesn't like or disagrees with. Like he's shown to be very vindictive and like very retaliatory in this movie. But
if he's driving Superman, in front of you and you beeping your horn at this nigga, he on your having a bad day, nigga. Nigga, don't pick this nigga up, bro.
Yeah, go grab him. You about to go lock him up.
Put this nigga in a chokey, dog. This nigga, no, dog.
Go turn that nigga water off, bro. Just cause.
So David Cornsweet, is it?
David Cornsweet, yeah.
There are a few different scenes where, like, niggas was like, I guess people saying he doesn't look like Superman. It was very conservative people saying it. But Henry Cavill looked like Superman, and there's a few scenes where this nigga looked like Henry Cavill, but then you look at him in other places and you like, nah, this a different nigga, but he looks like Superman. That nigga
I would disagree with that take if anybody said that like he doesn't feel like or look like Superman. He embodies the character of Superman very well. Like, I think despite what I said earlier about him losing fights, that's a script issue. As far as David Cornsweet's performance, I thought he did a phenomenal job in terms of bringing the character of Superman to life and making him feel human, making him feel relatable. Because I feel like that's one of the hardest things, I think, to do with a character like this, right? Batman is already preset. He's a human. He has trauma. He takes out his trauma on other people. however you want to, like, I get it. Not everybody's putting on a bat suit and whooping people's ass, but everybody in some capacity has anger and trauma that they've taken out on others. Like, Batman is a relatable character. You can make Batman a relatable character. That's hard to do with an alien from another planet who has just otherworldly abilities and who could, with minimal effort, wipe out the entirety of the human race. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a hard character to get the audience to connect to, even if he is a good guy, right? Like, humanizing that character can be challenging. So I think one of the things that this film executed very well was humanizing Superman and making him feel relatable and making him feel real. And then also his relationships and the way he interacts with other characters in this movie, I thought was phenomenal. This is the best Superman and Lois in a live action film that I can remember.
So one point that, like, 2 points. The relationships with everybody that he had. I think this is another departure from, you see the differences between um, James Gunn and Zack Snyder, because in Zack Snyder's, he we really only see his relationship with, his mom and Lois. We don't
Yeah.
see him really interact that much with other people, and it's because of the way the story was written. But also in this one, usually in superhero movies, the girlfriend is being rescued by Superman multiple times. In this movie, there's a sequence where Lois Lane strap her fucking boots on and she go get her nigga.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm so glad that they didn't do the whole Lois Lane as the
in
damsel in
danger.
distress thing in this. We've seen enough of that. We've seen. I can't think of a Superman movie where Lois wasn't in trouble and Superman had to save her. Like, I'm very glad they didn't do that in this.
And it showed her it really highlighted her powers of deduction as a investigative journalist, because throughout the whole movie, I don't want to say throughout the whole movie. I'll say when Superman starts having issues, and she's looking to find him, she starts pulling threads from everywhere. They start now ultimately somebody else pretty much gave them what they needed, but it was her that's looking at this information to say, okay, how is this tied together? How is this working? And at what point she's dictating to Jimmy Olsen, another reporter.
Highlight of the film, by the way.
Hey,
unexpected highlight of the movie. This nigga was
no, you know what? He wasn't even shooting, bro.
You're right. He didn't even have to shoot. They came to him. They came to him.
It was like the nigga had one of those.
This nigga had the pheromones on or something. It was just baddies just flocked to this nigga, bro.
He had that thing at the bowling alley that you get at kids. They put the ball on and they go down there. That's what that nigga had, but for basketball. That nigga just set it up there. 3-point, 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 like minimum effort. And
Jimmy Olsen just had cold women just on standby, just every scene. I'm like, how this nigga right here? I was not expecting. When I walked into this movie, I did not expect to walk out and go like, you know who was a highlight? Jimmy Olsen. So that nigga was low key a highlight of this movie.
Another memorable highlight that I liked was the parents, Mom, Pa, Kent, and
I like them in this.
Again.
They leaned into the Kansas roots very heavy.
And so that's why after I watched The Older Geek, that's one of the things he didn't like. He's like, well, they're yokels. Well, they're from the middle of fucking Kansas. And they've usually been very old-timey to now. It's not up-to-date thing. But same thing with Clark or Superman. When he did Superman, he said some very corny shit. The nigga grew up in Kansas. The nigga not gonna be as hip as everybody else. The nigga grew up playing with fucking cows and horses and doing farm work and shit like that. The nigga's not in the streets, Even when he talks to Lois at one point, and he's like, "Yeah, I like rock music. I like this group and this group." She's like, "That's not rock music. That's like pop at most." And he doesn't know these things because, like you said, where he is this just massive powerhouse of a being. He's still like a human character, and I think they've always said this throughout like comics with Superman. It's like, he's not a human in aspects of where he was born, but like the concept of Superman, like that's what makes him Superman, is that he has human characteristics where they want him to be like the best of humanity, and that's his whole thing. So sometimes he's a little naive. Sometimes he says some corny shit that doesn't happen. But as far as Mom, Pop, Kent, I loved it. I love that we got to see Jonathan Kent alive and well. I love that they didn't try to make the parents hot. Like, I felt like that was a goal with Zack Snyder.
Because he did. I was like, who's the most movie star looking old folks we
can? Because Martha Kent was kind of straight. I can't remember who it was in Man of Steel.
Martha Kent was kind of straight is not a sentence. It's not a sentence I was expecting to hear today. But I don't really know how I feel about it either. To keep it a being with you.
But when you looking at this one,
it is Diane Lane though, so fair enough.
When you look at this one, you like, okay, these are old country motherfuckers. Okay, this how they probably look. And I thought that those interactions was hilarious too, especially when Clark is talking to his dad, and he's like, I like that Laura girl a little bit.
It's Lois, Dad. Her name's Lois.
Yeah, it was a lot going on when you came in. She probably introduced herself, but we ain't worried about this right now. So like him just like, yo, what the this nigga? And I think they did a great job of telling this story without taking too many side quests. Because Man of Steel, it was it was kind of, it was a Superman movie, but we had a lot of fucking Lois Lane in this movie. Like the Man of Steel, the movie started with her trying to find out who this mystery man was who's completed these feats of this, and this, and she pretty much found out who Superman was immediately.
Yeah.
And I guess they were trying to say she's a good journalist, but we also see in this movie where we can only assume that Clark told her that he was Superman because there are things that he does, and I think this was mentioned in.
I mean, really, when the movie starts, she knows. There's a lot of
no. I'm saying she knowing this, but I think he told her in this. He told her in this iteration because, but because he does things
versus her finding out. I get what you're saying. Yes.
He does things for her not to know, like the glasses that they mentioned. It's just certain things that he does that niggas not gonna know that he's Superman.
Yeah,
unless you know.
Yeah. What did you think of? Because this movie had a lot of characters that were getting thrown in there.
It had a lot of characters.
What did you think of the Justice Gang and their inclusion? Because I remember when I first saw the trailer and I realized that James, not even the trailer, when they announced the cast. I remember when they announced the cast, and I saw James Gunn was going to be including some of these, I'll say, lesser known Justice League members, like even someone like a Green Lantern. Oh, we're not giving you Hal Jordan or John Stewart. We're giving you fucking Guy Gardner. Like, James Gunn is known to kind of, I don't want to say it like this, but kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel when it comes to picking characters he likes to include. So what were your feelings on that?
I'll say he takes a lot of D-list characters.
D-list.
I'm not going to say D-list, nice. Man. He does take some D, but no, I'm not.
John Stewart, Green Lantern is like a B-list character. I'm not, Iron Man is a B-list character.
I will never call Guy Gardner a D-list, though.
C plus, C minus.
C plus, I can give it a C plus. Yeah. But Guy Gardner, he might not get as much shine as John or Hal, but he is one of the more, like, I think he said, I don't know, did he say it in this where he's like, when you call a Green Lantern, you're not going to get this person or this person. You're going to get me. But this is, you didn't get this person or this person. You got me. But I'm the person that they call when they want to get shit done. And it's because of his personality. It's because everything that goes on. Like, he's very brash. So, like, the things that he did in this movie were not as bad as some of the shit that he's done in the comic books, man.
Yeah, this is a much more tame version of Guy Gardner.
Him just flipping people off and cursing. His little gold tooth, I thought, was fucking hilarious.
So, Nathan Fillion smoked that, by the way.
And
he smoked that.
He does the he plays Hal Jordan in the most recent, not the most recent, and the I want to say it was the new 52 iteration of the animated series of Justice League. Okay. He plays Nathan Fillion plays Hal Jordan. So now he's played at least 2 Green Lanterns. This is the first live action, and second live action Green Lantern all around. I liked his character. Mr. Terrific was fucking amazing.
Another standout.
Now, if you want to talk about like D-list characters and shit, I'll definitely give you Mr. Terrific is definitely not a character.
And Metamorphoso, or what? I for sure just butchered that.
Metamorphos.
Metamorpho. We're sorry, y'all. We don't know
something like that. Yeah. and I've seen him in other shit, but he's never somebody that I'm like, yeah, I like this guy.
No, I learned about that character in this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, he was in I think the first time I seen him was in it was either Young Justice or it was like which is an animated show came out on HBO, or it was Batman and the Outsiders, maybe.
Okay.
Which was kind of similar to Justice League. I think Young Justice like branched off, created from like that realm of that series of comic books when it came out. But no, he was well, I'm not gonna include him yet because he not there yet. But Mr. Terrific was amazing. The first time I seen Mr. Terrific was fucking in the Arrow on CW, and it was an interesting take. Then I think this one was way more like nigga's very serious about his business. He not doing no joking and shit. Like,
Yeah,
and
no,
you
he
know
was very, very serious.
watching how he's able to do multiple things at once while he's, immediately protecting Lois before he even knowing what's going on. Fucking sending his T spheres out to do whatever they're doing while he's actively fighting with them, like literally like punching a nigga, bringing his arm back, the T spear grabbing him or him grabbing it as it comes back to do some fucking fly him up, drop him down. Like I thought that was cool. I liked Hawk Girl. The only thing I didn't like was
I
that
liked all of them, honestly.
I did not like the screech that she let out, like an actual fucking eagle.
Yeah.
I thought, I kept hearing, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just tripping because in a Justice League Unlimited or even a Justice League comic where she's in the first time, she just like she screams, but that was like an actual eagle screeching
No,
or
that
a
was a
hawk
pure
screeching,
screech. Yeah.
and somebody was like, well, she's a hawk. No, 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 she's actually not a hawk. Okay. She's what are they from? She's Thanagarian, okay? they're they're hawk like people, they're not hawks.
Actual hawks.
Yeah. Like she's not a fucking hawk. So there's like, should Batman do a fucking bat screech then? Cause
you feel me? Like, no,
but so that was the only thing I didn't like. I really loved how they were new. They it doesn't tell us how new they were. They're new enough to where they're living and working out of is still being put together, but they've been working long enough for them to have a good relationship with Superman.
Yeah, you can tell, and they had their relationship with Superman was, I thought, perfect. Like it was like we rock with you, we're cool with you. You're not in the group though, and they made that abundantly clear. And I thought that was one of the best ways I feel like showed that, even without telling us, even though they did eventually tell us, was the scene right after Lex, goes to a certain location and a certain thing happens. There's a scene, and this scene is in this is a scene. There's a poster of this scene, and this scene is in the trailer, so I don't consider it too much of a spoiler. But a scene where he's taking his boots off, and there's that giant floating alien outside, and you see the Justice Gang fighting them, and Superman just in the crib chilling. And him and Lois have like just a phenomenal conversation that I thought was one of the highlights of the movie during that scene. And there's a line where she goes like, you're not gonna help them. Like you just see them out there just struggling to fight this thing. He's like, you're gonna leave them to their own devices. Like I thought there was very strong comedic moments in here that weren't too over the top.
It was very subtle.
They were subtle. They were pretty subtle. Like I actually thought I was expecting this movie to be over the top because I'm just used to James Gunn's directing style being that way. And we're just used to seeing James Gunn direct very obscure comic book characters. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was technically the last comic book movie he directed before this, but prior to that, he did Suicide Squad 2. The last DC movie he did was that. And, you're watching him direct motherfuckers who throw polka dots out of their skin, people who control rats with their voice, a talking shark, like, you know what I'm saying?
First of all, you're not gonna disrespect King Shark, all right?
I don't have to. He disrespected himself in that movie.
Everybody else, all right. King Shark though. King Shark,
I liked King Shark in that movie, but you're not gonna tell me that's not an obscure character.
He's not. That's one of Flash's, he's not in that, he's not a part of the rogues, but King Shark pops up a lot, I think.
Fair enough. I'll give you King Shark. I'm not gonna give you. Damn, I don't even remember Idris Elba's character's name in that movie.
I want to say Taskmaster.
So I'm gonna apologize in advance, y'all, because that's not
DC. So much because I only say it because of his skull face.
I want to say, was it Bloodsport?
Bloodsport.
It was Bloodsport. Okay,
it was Bloodsport.
Yeah,
I had to look that up when he came out. I'm like, who the fuck is Bloodsport? Yeah. And he definitely made him a lot cooler in this. He's like,
I will give you. Only reason I'll give you King Shark though is because it's like I'm thinking back and I'm like, you know what? I have seen King Shark pop up in enough things growing up to where if you was somewhat tapped in, you knew who that character was. So I'll give you that.
The last thing I seen King Shark in outside of the Flash on CW was
Flash on CW was one of the things I was thinking of.
Was Justice League? I want to say it was Justice League Dark or Justice League War. No, Justice League War was the first one with it's basically the last Justice League movie before they rebooted the animated universe. And King Shark is in there, but in this one, King Shark is a woman. But it's very it's funny because I'm not gonna get into it, but it was funny. But that was the last time I seen
Okay.
Shark. But no, you're 100% right. He does very well at taking these obscure characters and pushing them into the forefront. Like even like
Mr.
Guardians
Terrific being a highlight of this movie was not something I expected.
Even Guardians of the Galaxy, they're I don't want to say they're not really obscure, but they're not an A-list team.
No, they're obscure. They're obscure. We can say it. They're obscure.
If you're not a nigga that read comics and watch a lot of animated shows, you're not gonna know.
Even if you do read comics and watch a lot of animated shows, because I remember in my core circle of nerds, I was like, "Hey y'all, do y'all know who Guardians of the Galaxy are?" And the amount of people that said no was high.
I guess I'm saying it because like I knew of them, but like you're 100% right. Everybody might not know them, and I don't even know how I got on them. I was probably reading another comic book, and that's how I came across a lot of stuff. Yeah. And they had a lot of but they've been in some animated shows as well. Yeah. But they do a lot of team ups with Nova. Nova's one of my favorite comic book characters out of.
Very surprised Marvel. We haven't gotten a Nova property out of Marvel yet, but that's
you see, when they had that fucking list of fucking 400 movies that they was gonna put out in the next 10 years, and then they decided maybe we doing a little
scale back.
That was supposed to be one of them that was what was there, which would have been good because we've already seen a Nova Corps and Guardians of the Galaxy. So we didn't see the Nova Corps that we see in the comics. So them having powers and things like they're like cops in Guardians of the Galaxy. And let me just stop this, jump right back into it. I'm sorry. I don't even know how we got there.
James Gunn and his obscure characters.
All right,
characters. But that's his strength, though. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's where that's shown. He's proven that's his bag.
So some people
he's proven that's his bag.
Some people see that as not as a good thing. With him having Superman. Yeah. It's you do things to make these characters interesting, but I'll even. It's not a lot of times that I noticed it in here, but he took some takes on Superman. I'm like, I don't know why you would do why this is happening like this. And but he does things to these obscure characters. Like Peacemaker is one. Picking fucking John Cena to do Peacemaker.
Of all characters.
Because I had never seen Peacemaker before, ever. Never heard of him.
Did not know who that person was.
The first time I seen him in a comic was recently in a universe where it's not the regular DC universe. It's a universe that
one of their Elseworlds.
Yeah, one of their Elseworlds. So it's kind of that's all I've seen him in. I don't know if he's goofy like that. I know John Cena's goofy like that. I don't know if he's serious. So when he takes over a character like Superman and he's in charge of this, people were scared, like, what is he going to do to these characters? Because like you said, we don't see the comedy that he's used in Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, or Guardians of the Galaxy. We don't see that type of comedy. It's a lot more subtle in his Superman movie. So like you said, he's shown that he can do these things and he will do it when necessary. Because I think an overly goofy Superman would have pissed everybody off.
Like, that would have been a lot.
It would have been like the overly emo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I had a similar concern going into this. Just being familiar with James Gunn and the types of characters he's most comfortable using in his films, I was a little worried about what do you mean we're getting Guy Gardner and some guy named Mr. Terrific and some guy named Metamorpho in a Superman debut of your new DC universe. I was a little worried, you know what I'm saying?
And Crypto.
Crypto was probably the biggest one where I was like, you're putting Crypto in here? Like, as soon as I saw a dog with a cape, I'm like, Crypto's in this movie? Like, that's just personally not a character I ever thought we'd get a live action version of.
It's really not somebody I care for. I don't care to see Crypto. I did see
and he was Crypto was used as a cop out in this movie a lot.
And he was a dick. He was a dick. And I seen there like I was hoping they didn't do it, which they ended up not doing. There was an article going around right before the movie going out saying there was a scene where Crypto gets punched by a villain in the film. and they cut it out because people was complaining. I'm so glad that they did not take that shit out.
Yo, they ain't take it out. Crypto gets a few. Crypto gets his ass up a little bit too in this.
Because
Superman.
Again, it highlights how evil motherfuckers are. You think a nigga that's evil, that's trying to kill fucking hundreds, thousands, and millions of people,
about a flying
gives
dog?
a fuck about a flying dog? I don't give a fuck about human life. Why do I care about a dog's life?
Yeah.
Like, so I just want to highlight Lex Luthor, bro.
He's one of my favorite parts of this movie. Lex Luthor was probably my favorite part of this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I just wasn't expecting it to be that good.
Yeah.
I think every Lex Luthor looks weird to me though. Like bald head Lex Luthors look weird to me out because I grew up on the Superman animated series, so Lex Luthor was black.
Yeah. All right. I was about to say, like, to me, you could growing up as a kid, you couldn't tell me Lex Luthor wasn't black. I grew up, I was like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me the original Lex wasn't?
Lex Luthor was a nigga. Like me. So now, and their heads was like perfectly bald.
Yeah.
And now, the characters that they have, like, we know niggas with bald heads. We know old black niggas with bald heads, and they have like very perfect bald heads. It's white men with some very perfect bald heads. But the niggas that's playing Lex Luthor, these niggas, like, they have hair. They doing this for this role. So they don't have those perfect Lex Luthor heads. So they look weird. He looks weird in here, but man, did he play this shit.
He killed this role. Shout out to Nicholas Hoult. This is definitely one of the better, especially coming off of Jesse Eisenberg. Like, this was very refreshing to get like, okay, I actually fuck with this Lex Luthor. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to Jesse Eisenberg. I think he's a good actor. I just don't think Lex Luthor was the right role for him to be playing.
He wasn't, but also it was disrespect to it was disrespect from I'm gonna say Zack Snyder and who finished that from? Josh Whedon.
Oh, Josh Whedon. Alfred. Jeez.
Whoever casted Jesse Eisenberg. Because
it was Zack Snyder who casted him. Joss Whedon inherited that movie and then ruined it. But no, the casting was Zack Snyder.
So I blame that on him. Just I don't care. If I'm a comic book fan and you're like, hey, we want you to be fucking what's a historically white character from DC Comics? I can't think. We want you to be Superboy, nigga. Yes, I don't care if I don't have fit the role, nigga. Yeah. I'm doing it, nigga. I'm going to be a superhero. Like, I think that's every, like, comic book fan nerds, like, goal to be that. So, yes, I'm going to do it. So, I like you said, I no disrespect to him, but that's just not his brand of, like, acting.
Yeah.
Like,
that's not the character he should have been. I have no problem with Jesse Eisenberg in a lot of roles. I think, like I said, he's a great actor. I just don't think Lex Luthor was the role for him. In this case, Nicholas Hoult, this was the role for him. This is definitely the role for him. He portrayed this very well, and I don't think I've ever seen someone be this dedicated to hating the way Lex Luthor is dedicated to hating. Picture the biggest hater you know.
I can't say that.
And all the pure hatred they have for a particular individual. They ain't touching this Lex Luthor.
I can't say that for the simple fact that we still got Professor Zone in the DC universe. And then we got Dr. Doom in Marvel universe.
Dr. Doom is another generational hater.
That's the only reason I'm saying. I will say that if there's a top 3 haters, it's them 3 niggas.
In comics, the top 3 haters, in comics, Lex Luthor, Zoom, and Dr. Doom.
And I'm maybe missing one other person that I can't think of right off the top of my head, but it's certainly those three
are strong contenders. We're talking like about just generational haters.
Lex Luthor has the means to do so many great things, but he's such a petty and spiteful man.
Such an asshole.
I think in one of the comics, he has a sister and she has cancer. He cures the cancer to show that he can do it.
Yeah.
And then he gives her cancer.
This nigga's terrible.
He gives her cancer. Like, nigga, what?
Lex Luthor is so terrible. He's so terrible.
There's a because I just want to, since we were talking about Lex Luthor's right now, I'm pulling it up right now because I'm mad I don't remember buddy's name. He was in a few other TV shows that I've watched. He played Lex Luthor on Superman and Lois.
Okay, but yeah, this was the best on-screen Lex Luthor live action, I should say,
it was
that I've seen in a while.
Michael Cutlitz, and I usually see him in TV shows. He was on The Walking Dead. Did you watch The Walking Dead?
Not entirely. No, I've seen parts of The Walking Dead, but I'm not as tapped in as like someone who's a purebred Walking Dead fan.
He was on this older show that I used to watch. It was an older cop show called Southland, and that's where I first seen him. But he actually he was all right. So he didn't get on Walking Dead till like season 4. So okay. He was a. And this again, this is what I love about comic book movies and comic books is that there's so many different takes on people. Yeah. So Lois Lane has multiple different takes. So, but her characters, I mean, their characters are essentially the same. She's a journalist. She's strong-willed. She's somewhat defiant at times. Her father's a fucking army general, like top of the food chain army general. Superman, I want to help people. He's just a good person, like always a good person. You know, come from Smallville. He's good morally. Lex Luthor's fucking evil as shit.
Like pure evil.
Every iteration almost, you know, outside like the Elseworld shit or other dimension universe shit.
His version, he's pure evil.
He's always evil. Now you have different forms of it where, like I said, the Superman and Lois Lex Luthor, he was evil, but he wasn't really, you know, petty. You know, he wanted revenge. Sir, he was certainly spiteful in there, but he wasn't doing it because he was doing it because nigga, y'all put me in prison for some shit.
He had a reason.
For some shit Lex Luthor didn't have a reason. Do. You know, he did a lot of evil shit, but y'all put me in prison for some shit I didn't do. That's why I'm upset. You know, this Lex Luthor is just
petty, just cause I don't like you for no other reason.
And one of the animated movies with Superman and Lex Luthor, Superman goes to visit. I'm sorry, Clark Kent goes to interview Lex Luthor in prison. Okay. And I want to say it may have been Man of Tomorrow. I can't remember which Superman movie this was. And basically, I think somebody attacks the prison, or there's a level under the prison where they keep like super criminals, secret prison. And before all this happens, like I said, Clark Kent is interviewing fucking Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor doesn't know who the fuck he is. First of all, they made Lex Luthor a beast in this shit. They do that a lot. So like Lex Luthor like is benching like 400 pounds easy. He
was swole.
No, he wasn't swole though. That's the thing. Like he was just very fit, just cranking them bitches out. It might have been 350, 325, but the nigga shouldn't have been doing it at this size. But he was basically saying like he was kind of like this Lex Luthor. You know, he's like, I'm a man. I'm human. I'm at the peak of human. Like he's talking to this nigga, not struggling at all. I'm at the peak of human athleticism. I'm at the peak of human intelligence. And same thing he said in this one. You have this motherfucker from this fucking no God knows where coming in, and he's taking the spotlight off me. He compared himself to so many other I guess we'll say intelligent people of their times. And he's like, they don't hold a flame to me, you know, because I'm human. They're human. And like I said, you do have one of my favorite Lex Luthors though is I'm protecting Earth from this alien. And they kind of gave him this a little bit, but it's always the same thing. It's not really, he doesn't give a fuck about protecting humans from aliens.
That's the thing about this Lex Luthor. He says that like I want to protect Earth from Superman.
He don't give a shit though.
He don't actually give a fuck. He just hates Superman, and he's gonna say and do whatever he has to do and hurt whoever he has to hurt to accomplish that mission of killing Superman. He doesn't really give a fuck. He just hates that man with a passion. He just hates this nigga. Just straight up. That's his motivation. It don't get no more complicated than that. I hate you.
Before I give mine my rating, I want to mention a few things that may actually be they're spoilers, but it's not going to spoil the story for you. We do see a Supergirl in there, and we know they're currently working.
You know that they're working on that movie, yeah.
So we do see her in this movie. I'm interested to see how that takes place. Is that happening right after this? Does it happen while during this is happening? What time and place does the Supergirl movie take place? But one of my favorite parts of this movie had to be the, what do you say, 100,000 or 1,000 shit posting monkeys.
Oh yeah,
the nigga
the anti-Superman bots.
he literally had fucking intelligent monkeys writing hateful things about Superman on the internet. So
the anti-monkey suit, the anti-Superman monkey bots.
I'm not gonna talk about what we talked about yesterday, but I think there's a lot of similarities to some things that goes on in the real world.
Yes,
that goes on. They kind of
there are some parallels to real life.
Yeah, you can look at a lot of things that happen and be like, okay, they're probably doing this because of this, or I can see why they're doing this. So there's things here and there. Maybe are they hidden messages? Who the fuck knows? We won't know until James Gunn comes out and say, "This is why I did X, Y, and Z."
Yeah.
But also in doing these things, there's a lot of history, like comic book history, and a lot of things that he's doing as well. So it could be that, hey, I want to speak on this social issue while I'm doing this and X, Y, and Z. I want to social speak because the one thing he did say is Superman is an immigrant, and niggas were up in flames about it. The nigga came to Earth
from outer space,
and is living in the United States of America with forged paperwork
and superpowers.
and superpowers. So, I think with James Gunn saying that, it set off a wave of people thinking that everything that he's done in this movie is
him saying that made people think like every single action or every single scene in this movie that could be taken as real life symbolism is like, oh, he's trying to send a message, or he's trying to be political or whatever. A, it's just a movie. And B, like what James Gunn said isn't untrue. Superman is not from Earth. He's not. Forget not even from the United States. He's not from Earth.
It's a fact.
Like that is what the character is. Like you can try to get up in arms about it all you want, but that's just a fact of the character. And I think we're getting into dangerous territory if we can't just factually speak about what a character is without people getting up in arms about it. I think that's very odd. But people like to get in a bunch over fictional characters a lot. So,
like I said, one of my favorite comic books. Did I buy that? I had to take my glasses off to see. I need to buy that, but I don't think I can find it at the comic book store I go to. I read it online. It's Superman, American Alien. That's the name of the comic book. It's been out for years. That's the one that I'm talking about where he leaves home and he's just doing a bunch of different shit. He goes to play trial for the football team. He goes to do race cars. Like he doesn't know what he's going to do with his life. And then at the end of the book, he's like, I'm being reporter. But some quick things for my rating. I think he was perfect as Superman.
Phenomenal job.
When I first seen I don't remember the title of this Superman movie. I don't think it was Superman Returns. I want to say it was just Superman. It might have been Superman Returns. The one with Brandon Roth.
Yeah, also Superman Returns.
Didn't like it originally.
He who shall not be named was playing Lex Luthor.
Those charges were, he was found innocent. I don't know if he was, or I'm sorry, he was found not guilty. I don't know if the nigga was innocent. But the nigga was an incredible fucking actor, though. Didn't like his.
You got to tell me that certain individuals in quite a few of my personal favorite movies. Nigga, if I made a top 5 of my personal favorite movies, at least 3 of his movies gonna be in there. So.
And I know I was going to the ratings. I got sidetracked.
Yeah, but let me not even sidetrack.
No, it said we there because what's the movie with Kaiser
Soze?
The Usual Suspects.
That one's up there.
Yeah. Dog, I think that was like one of the first like real like adult movies that I seen as a child that I watched with my dad. And I'm like, yo, this shit is amazing, dog.
He got some bangers, but I'm gonna let you back to your rating. I don't want it to get off the rails.
I gotta give you one more. 7.
That's both of them, actually.
Okay.
Those are both the ones. Yes. 7 is probably like one of my. If you catch me on the right day, I might say 7 is my favorite.
So like 7 is incredible.
Yeah, 7 Usual Suspects are up there for me.
What's in the box? So
that damn box. Boy.
I did not originally like that Superman, but actually when I started rewatching watching Superman and Lois, I think I watched that Superman. I watched Man of Steel. I watched Superman Returns. And I'm like, okay, this Superman is good. All right. It just picks up off of like the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
Niggas didn't know at the time. So they looking at this and they're like, why does shit look like this? Why is it set like this?
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this Superman. I think this is one of those times where they really nailed both Superman and Clark Kent.
Yes.
Man of Steel was one where Clark Kent was done terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
We didn't give two shits about Clark Kent.
We barely seen Clark Kent in there. And like the nigga literally had his hair the same, just threw glasses on.
Like, but he wasn't even trying.
And he was like, Clark Kent in fucking Man of Steel looked cool as shit.
Yeah.
The nigga looked like he was going on an expedition. So I hated that. No worry. So I really enjoyed I really enjoyed Superman and Clark Kent. You said it before. His interactions with everyone in the movie was amazing. As both Superman and Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. Even when he doesn't have a lot of interactions with people, the interactions that he does have is strong. The interaction once they find out, once Lex Luthor plays a message that Superman didn't know about, and it's right after a fight, and the Justice Gang is there, and that interaction with them was like, all right, well, they on guard, but also like they go check on this nigga to see what the fuck he going through.
Yeah, like you smooth, bro. Like keep a few steps back, but you smooth.
And I think that was one of the times where Guy Gardner really like, they say like he's, and I want to say in one of the comics he says like why he acts the way he acts. Mm-hmm. It's kind of to disarm people, or it's to like keep not disarm them, but like to keep them at arm's length and shit. Something like that. I don't remember. But like this one of those times in this movie that you see him and he's being serious. Like he's like, yo, I became a Green Lantern to stop motherfuckers from doing what they say you're doing. So I think that was real dope of that, because you also see these characters' interactions. You see Hawk Girl is usually playing mediator to Guy Gardner and everybody else. Like when he's saying something stupid, she won't really check him, but she'll say something to him. While you have Mr. Fantastic, who's cool, laid back, and
not Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Terrific. Fuck shit. And I don't.
That movie's coming later.
I don't know how to say his last name. I know his first name is pronounced Edie though. And this was a great redemption arc for him from fucking Darwin and X-Men First Class.
A huge redemption from Darwin and X-Men, because they did my man's dirty as hell in that.
I did see an interview. He said that they told him he was going to come back.
Come on now, you gotta
never seen this nigga
lying to you, gang. You gotta know Hollywood.
And they should have at least mentioned. They should have at least mentioned him in those other films. Like,
they did him dirty as hell.
Reborn, this. So they did him super dirty. So to see him, and I think it's even great because some of these actors are. Nathan Fillion has a long history of movies and TV shows. When Uncharted came out, I thought he was gonna be Nathan Drake because the nigga looks just like the character.
Nathan Fillion has a long-standing tie with nerd culture across the board.
Yes, he cosplayed Nathan Drake before. But Edie, I don't know how to say his last name. I'm just call him Edie. That's terrific. I've seen him in so many things, but I've never seen him in because I still wouldn't even consider this to really be a large role. Because he they gave this nigga some screen time, which I love. He probably got more screen time than anybody else in the Justice Gang.
Oh, most definitely, yes, most definitely.
So I hope that's a sign to come. I hope that whatever else we see in this, we know what James Gunn is doing. He's putting TV shows, live action TV shows, live action movies, animated shows, and they have comic book tie-ins. They're throwing all these shits together to try to make this new DCU. So I hope we do see him more. I don't know if you've seen that clip of Peacemaker where he's where the Justice Gang is interviewing him, but he's not in it. He's not in that clip. It's Green Lantern and it's Hawk Girl, and then it's James Gunn who plays Mac Lord. Or I don't know. That might have been his brother. I can't remember. That was his brother. His brother plays Max Lord.
Okay.
So like I said, I love those interactions. I really love the take on Mine Paul Kent. And I think we started this with some of these more established comic book characters. We don't need to see the whole origin story again. I don't need to see Martha. Damn, I forgot Batman's dead name. I don't need to see the Kents get shot in the alley. I don't need to see Superman's rocket ship come to Earth every time. Now, when we see Supergirl, let's see that. We've seen it before, but it's not as widely known as.
Yeah, we don't really know her backstory like that.
Especially, especially in this one. Sometimes she comes years later. Sometimes she's diverted. Sometimes they're both kids. So I'm really interested to see how they do that. So I know I kind of veered off during my my likes It's not really a lot that I didn't dislike about the movie outside of I wasn't a fan of Crypto. And just because he was an asshole, but you have some dogs that are assholes. He just, my iterations that I've seen him in, he's just been a good boy. So, and Nicholas Holt's fucking God, like I think every villain in here was done very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the engineer to the Ultraman, who we didn't even talk about Ultraman.
Not for real, but we briefly did. Yeah,
real. No, we didn't. We only talked about the Hammer Bavaria.
I mean, same person.
They don't know that, dog.
Same person. I
do want to mention that in the comics and some of the animated series, Ultraman is a Superman from another Earth who's a criminal. He plays Justice Syndicate, their crime syndicate. And everybody's just weird. But I'm going to give it. I think I want to go higher, but I feel like I'm glazing. I'm gonna give it an 8.
You're not glazing.
I want to go higher. That's why I said I feel like I'll be glazing. Because I really, like I said, I can enjoy movies and feel like they're not good movies. This was a good movie that I enjoyed.
Yeah. And I don't think you're glazing. I don't think you're glazing with an 8 at all. I'm a agree with pretty much everything you said. Only other critique I would add is, like I said, I just feel like Superman wasn't really shown to be that powerful in this movie. He was
fighting Ultraman, dog.
I would even still, like, I'm just thinking back to how Superman has been portrayed on screen recently and the level of power. Like, I remember in that Justice League movie when he showed up and the rest of the Justice League was like, oh shit, we got to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just thinking of the way
Superman niggas not on that. That's like you being you. That's like you and your brother being kids and y'all go to fight your daddy.
But that's like Superman is supposed to have that level of like reverence and power to me in DC. Like he's Superman. You know what I'm saying?
It didn't feel like he doesn't.
And I get it. You want him to be vulnerable. You don't want him to be too OP.
But it's not even that. It's just
I also don't think he should have the same playoff record as like Aaron Rodgers in this movie, where he has more losses than wins.
You had no. Okay, in the movie, yes, but
yes, he had a losing record in fights in this movie. Like
you have, so this is why, like I said, this is why this Superman movie is different. You know, what I want to say Zack Snyder started this because Superman faces foes that should be as strong as him. Live action foes.
Yeah.
So same with this one. He's fighting someone who's supposed to be stronger than him. That's like if we would have seen he beat the shit out of Steppenwolf in Justice League, but if he would have fought Darkseid, the fight wouldn't have went like that.
That's cool. That's Darkseid. I'm saying that's cool. That's Darkseid. That's different. That Doomsday, Darkseid, like those level of villains, that's different.
I really want to say who Ultraman is, but I don't want to give it away.
And that's cool. But I'm saying in the brand new DC universe, cinematic universe, you're introducing a new Superman to the audience. I don't know if having him start the film off 0 for 2 in fights is the best way to introduce him to a new. Imagine if Iron Man opens, you're starting a brand new Marvel Cinematic Universe. Iron Man opens, and it's just Iron Man getting his ass whooped the first 2 scenes.
You know why I wouldn't?
You're trying to establish this new character.
You know why that's different?
Because Superman is Superman and Iron Man is Iron Man.
Because it's shown Superman don't know who or what he's fighting, and on the other end of that,
they know all his fight. They
know all his fight. On top of it's someone who's stronger than, if not the same strength as him.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that character couldn't have.
Let me say, I hear what you're saying. I don't want you saying it.
No, I hear what you're saying.
That's what it is.
I don't think you're wrong, right? I don't think you're wrong. They established why it made sense for Superman to be losing these fights. It wasn't like it don't make sense for him to be losing. They established here's why he's losing, so it made sense. I'm just saying if you're introducing a new version of Superman to audiences and saying, hey y'all, this is our new Superman. We're building our universe, our new universe off the back of this character. And then, oh yeah, by the way, to start the movie, he gets his ass whooped twice. To start the movie. And then if we gonna tally up wins and losses of his fights throughout the movie, he has a losing record.
So
that's not how I would have liked Superman to be.
I'm gonna ask one more question. I'm gonna let you get back to your Would it have been better if he had won 2 fights before this?
Yeah, bro, just give him some warm-ups, nigga. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Get a nigga some warm-up wins. You feel me? Like, I just don't got too much to ask for.
You trying to pad this nigga record, dog.
You gotta pad the stats, bro. Get a nigga some warm-up wins, bro. You know what I'm saying? Throw the nigga some lower tier villains. You know what I'm saying? Let him get his little 1-2 off real quick.
Don't fan in this bitch real quick.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking for, bro. Just give this nigga, give this nigga a couple of quick dubs, and then it's, oh shit, here comes this one whoop-de-whoop Bulgarian nigga. Boom, now I'll get my ass whooped. Cool. That's fine. I'm not saying Superman should walk out of this movie unscathed or that he shouldn't face challenges or adversity. I'm just saying I don't think I should I shouldn't have walked out of this movie going like, damn, Superman low-key was getting his ass whooped for like most of that. I literally reflected on that walking out of this movie. I was like, that he spent a good portion of this movie getting his ass whooped. And I don't think that's how I should have felt about Superman in terms of his fighting ability to me. That's just me.
I hear you. This is going to be one of them things we disagree for.
But I'm going to give it an 8 too, though. I'm going to give it an 8. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I thought James Gunn did a phenomenal job of introducing this new iteration of the DC Cinematic Universe. I thought he did a good job of utilizing some of the lesser known characters, or maybe not even lesser known, because people know Hawk Girl, people know Guy Gardner, people don't know Mr. Terrific.
I think, I mean, even like you said, like Guy, people know Guy Gardner, but he is lesser known of the Green Lantern.
Lesser known to like the general audience. Yeah, like your average movie going person's not gonna know who Guy Gardner is.
Engineer, I don't even know if
they did a good job with that. I don't know. I didn't know who the engineer was.
I don't know if that's a new character, created character, or I don't know. But I
don't know who the engineer is. Just straight up,
he did a very good job of making this. I hate to keep comparing it back to Man of Steel, but that's the most recent Superman movie that we've gotten, and it was so different from what most people think Superman is. So he did a very good job of making this very light. And this nigga James Gunn got a lot of friends, dog. I don't know if you looked at the cast list of everybody that's in this shit. So before we get away from this, and we close this out, man, just real quick. I was watching some shit and I seen a nigga that he's like, oh yeah, James Gunn asked me to be in a movie. And he's like, oh, I went to James Gunn's wedding. He's like, oh, well, I thought Rosenbaum, the nigga that played Lex Luthor in Smallville, invited you. And he's like, no, James Gunn is my friend. James Gunn called him to ask him to be in a movie. Outside of like the main cast that we seeing, Alan Tudyk is in there, who is a phenomenal actor and voice actor who voices so many fucking comic book characters, but a lot of James Gunn's. Bradley Cooper, bro.
Bradley Cooper was short hell. It took me a minute to realize.
I'm looking at this nigga. I'm like, this nigga look like Bradley Cooper. But
it took me a minute to realize that was Bradley Cooper.
He kind of look Hispanic. And then I look again. I'm like, I waited to the set list. Bradley Cooper's in there. Michael Rooker's in there. He plays one of the robots.
Michael Rooker was in there.
So, Alan Tudyk plays a robot.
Yep, I knew that.
Michael Rooker plays a robot. Palm Clementif, who plays Mantis, is in here.
Yep, shit, yeah. That's one thing I've noticed about James Gunn, bro. People who've worked with him like rave about their experience. They rave. I remember the entire Guardians of the Galaxy cast was like, "We're not working on the next movie unless you bring James Gunn back." If you remember that,
they had fired him
when they initially fired him. Like, the cast was like, Batista was like, "Okay, fine, and recast Drax because I'm not coming back unless James Gunn's doing it."
Which I think that just shows like, from the differences that they had on Justice League set, it shows not only do people believe that he's a capable director and writer, because he did both for the Superman movie, but he's also a good person to where niggas is ready to put they livelihood on the line for him.
No, literally.
We could say like, oh well, that's just one movie, but we've seen what they did with Ray Fisher after Justice League, after he voiced his concerns about Joss Whedon. Yeah. Niggas been in like 2 movies since then, and they weren't big. Then he went back to doing stage plays. So shit happens. But that just shows like how competent people think he is. And again, we got a whole studio that's being built on this nigga's back at this point. Him and I don't know the other guy's name, but they're doing it together.
I really only know James Gunn. I'm not familiar with who else I know it's not just him. But I don't know who else he's working with.
It's one other guy. I just don't remember his name. And whenever they mention him, they don't say his name.
Yeah, no,
they be like, he's one of 2 figureheads.
I mean, well, that and James Gunn is the creative director for the most part. Like, obviously, he's the one directing this film. I'm sure he'll have creative input on everything else you see from here on out. So that's to me the most important voice in the room as far as what we actually end up getting on screen. But I'm actually surprised we ended up having the same rating out of this one, but I think it's appropriate. Like, this was it was a great introduction to this universe, and it's gotten me excited to see what they do next. Honestly, in James Gunn, I trust. Give me all the D and E and F level characters that you want, and I will sit back and enjoy it. Like I'm done criticizing James Gunn off of his obscure characters because he knocks out the park every time. So I'm with it.
Peacemaker season 2 is supposed to be, like I said, when he did Suicide Squad 2, I enjoy Suicide Squad movie. I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it's not a terrible movie.
I would say it's good.
It's so I already said first Suicide Squad movie was a bad movie. I was entertained, but it was a bad movie. I think the second one was okay, but I was going somewhere. Don't remember. Let's wrap this shit up.
But yeah, no, we definitely appropriate that we both gave this one an 8.
No, sure. It deserved it.
Let us know what you guys thought if you have seen Superman already. If you haven't, highly recommend you go check this out at some point, definitely before it leaves theaters. Continue to let us know your thoughts. Always continue to like, comment, subscribe. We do appreciate all the support. And until next time, this is the Reel Junkies. Peace.